Goku and friends have come into contact with Broly, and while they're able to make it out of battle with him, now he's become possessed by Babidi. Will Babidi's plan work? And more importantly, what's going to happen to everyone else? We'll cover all that and more in this 9th part of What If Goku Joined Raditz. The rampaging Broly fights everyone once more. Now as a Super Saiyan, he's pretty much unstoppable. In Wrathful he was easy to handle, especially with 3 Super Saiyan 2s there, but this is a whole different monster. And not just that, he's grown even stronger thanks to Babidi's mind control. The Majin spell gave him a power boost on top of it. But amidst the battle, 2 giant blocks of stone appear on Broly's hands, and 2 appear on his feet, weighing him down and sending him right to the surface again. He breaks out of it pretty quickly, but more of them spawn from the sky. 2 strangers have arrived on the scene. No one's seen them before, and they're pretty panicked, trying to explain along the way. It's Shin and Kibito. They didn't expect Babidi to strike now, nor did they expect him to strike here. It's working pretty quickly too. Shin tries to make more blocks of Kachi to spawn around Broly, and he breaks through them pretty easily, while Kibito also tries to paralyze him, but nothing really works. He breaks through it pretty effortlessly. Goku and the others are pretty lost, but Shin and Kibito try to explain who they are and what's even happening, and they learn of Majin Buu. Broly seems to be completely unaware of that. Basically, Babidi's been stalking them and waiting for this opportunity. As soon as they realized this was happening, they acted, but it may already be too late. Babidi did keep a low profile after all, so it was kind of hard to preemptively strike. Tien, Krillin, Chilai, and Lemo are on the sidelines. Tien and Krillin do want to help, but they're kind of out of their league here. But then, a statue of Paragus falls out of the sky, shattering on the ground in front of them. Broly doesn't even notice this, thankfully, but then descending down after that is Dabra. While Broly is gathering energy for Babidi, it wouldn't hurt to deal with everyone else. Shin and Kibito notice this and warn Krillin and Tien of who Dabra is, but they feel like they can handle this. He does look intimidating, and his title sounds pretty intimidating too. Not to mention, Shin warns them of his spit and his strength, but they're pretty confident. The 2 of them power up. A red aura surrounds them. They're using Kaioken. Since they've been a lot more serious about their training, especially ever since Raditz showed up, of course they train a bunch on the lookout, and Kami eventually got them in contact with King Kai, so they have this. They can only use it in bursts though, but even without Kaioken, their regular power is pretty strong, but against Dabra they kinda need to rely on this, although with their strength they should be able to hold them off. Broly is fighting pretty mindlessly right now. Kibito is also able to heal the 3 Saiyans fighting, restoring their injuries from their previous fight with Broly, but it's not really going to help too much here. Broly is still way too strong for them, but with him being Berserk, they just have to fight defensively and keep their distance. He is growing and adapting as he fights, but still, he's an uncontrollable monster right now. Meanwhile, as Tien and Krillin fight Dabra, Dabra tries to spit on Tien at one point, but quickly he tries something on a whim. He charges into Kaioken, and with all his power he launches a Ki. An air blast to send the spit right back at Dabra. It hits him, and it doesn't affect him. Of course his own spell isn't going to affect him. He laughs at this too. It seemed like a pretty good plan, but did they really expect him to be affected by his own spit? And honestly, Tien wasn't really sure. He was just trying to defend himself from it. But more importantly, it acted as a good distraction. As Dabra's mocking him, he then senses something pretty powerful behind him. He turns around, but it's already too late. A Kienzan from Krillin cuts clean through his neck just as he turns around, beheading him. And just in case, the 2 of them jump up in the air, each launching a blast down to erase whatever's left of Dabra. They can't be too careful. Tien tells Krillin that was good thinking, and Krillin says the same for him, but Tien looks up in the sky and sees Paragus' ship. So where's that Babidi guy that Shin's talking about? Thankfully Tien has pretty good eyesight. I mean, the 3 eyes and all, and he can actually see Babidi watching from above. Babidi hasn't even noticed that Dabra died. He's too focused on Broly's fight and the energy that he's collecting. So focused in fact that he doesn't notice Tien looking at him. Tien launches a Dodonpa up in the air. At the very last microsecond, Babidi notices it, and it's already too late. It hits him head on, completely obliterating him and blowing up the ship that he's on. Alright, that's 2 of them down, so now they actually need to find where Buu's egg is. Babidi must have brought it with him somehow, right? And yeah, he was able to put it aboard his spaceship, and he took it from Earth to here. But his spaceship is parked somewhere on Vampa right now, and they have no clue of how to find it. So they start their search, with Chilai and Lemo trying to help. This kind of calms Shin down a bit. It's good that they got rid of Babidi and Dabra, but still. What about Buu? They don't know where his egg is, and they don't know how much energy he has. What they don't realize is that Tien just gave them the last little bit of energy that they needed. Broly already gathered a lot, and killing Babidi actually gave the last little amount. It's already on autopilot, basically. Broly then slowly starts to snap out of it. The M on his forehead disappears. Without Babidi to control him, he's just, well, a regular Super Saiyan, which still isn't great, and he's still pretty uncontrollable. But he has worked on controlling his anger before, and with Chilai and Lemo there, they might be able to get through to him. But that's not their main focus right now. Everyone senses a terrifying presence nearby. Hidden not too far away from them is Buu's egg. Outside of it are Pui Pui and Yakon. Tien and Krillin quickly rush over there, with Shin and Kibito following as the Saiyans fight off Broly. A huge cloud of smoke shoots up in the air, and then Buu appears. Right off the bat, Tien and Krillin kill Yakon and Pui Pui, and then they stand ready for Buu, also realizing that this is probably a losing battle, especially with Shin and Kibito's reactions. Meanwhile, Chilai and Lemo are trying to get through to Broly. As a Super Saiyan, he can't really control this just yet, but they're at least able to guide him towards Buu. The Saiyans fly over to where Buu is, and Broly follows them, causing Broly and Buu to come in contact with each other. The Berserk Broly immediately attacks Buu, starting off with a strong punch. Buu feels pain from it, but he's not injured from it. He is pretty stretchy after all. he and Broly start exchanging blows. Goku, Raditz, and Gohan land beside Shin and Kibito. So, what now? It does look like Buu is pretty strong, but Broly's also really strong. Broly may even be able to defeat Buu as he is now. But the issue is, they're going to have to fight him right after. And Raditz watches on closely, wondering if Broly could actually pull it off. They know nothing about Majin Buu, and they don't really know that much about Broly either. He wonders what type of Saiyan Broly is. He must be some sort of mutant because he's never seen a Saiyan with power like this. Shin is pretty concerned because if Broly can't win, they're going to have to fight Buu, and then they're screwed. But if Broly wins, they're going to have to fight him and calm him down somehow. But Goku isn't too worried. He thinks that they'll be able to get through to him, especially with Chilai and Lemo's help. They're all pretty badly beat up right now, but they did get to talk with Broly a bit before. Goku realizes Broly isn't a bad guy at all. He just has this uncontrollable power. As he's facing Buu, Kibito heals the three Saiyans and they join in. The battle briefly stops, with Buu and Broly staring each other down. But Goku puts a hand on Broly's shoulder. Broly almost immediately goes to attack Goku, but he tells him they don't need to fight. They're not enemies. And Broly briefly listens, because as he turns towards Goku, he gets a look at Chilai and Lemo again. And Goku lets them know, if he keeps going berserk, they're all gonna die. On top of that, if he can't defeat Buu, they're all gonna die. Either way, Broly needs to learn to get a grip on his power, because otherwise, everything he loved will be gone, and he might even die in the process. When it comes to Buu, they don't know what they're truly dealing with, but Raditz chimes in. He says if Broly controls that power, he's gonna have more than enough. A Saiyan like him could win a battle like this. And Gohan steps up too. With his own power coming from rage as well, he kinda sympathizes with Broly, although he doesn't go berserk when his rage gets a hold of him. But they all basically encourage Broly, trying to get him to harness this power. And then the three of them jump in to fight Buu alone, as Broly stands back, trying to regain control of himself. He stops fighting. He falls to a knee, grabbing his head again. Slowly, his aura starts to dissipate. He remains in Super Saiyan, but his eyes are no longer blank. He shrinks in size just a little bit. He is still pretty massive though. And then he stands up, looking down at his hands. He exhales. He has control over this. Thanks to all of his time training with Wrathful and getting a grip on that, he has a brief moment of lucidity here with Super Saiyan, and he's able to grasp it. He looks over at Chilai and Lemo and nods, and then flies in to help the other three. Buu's having fun fighting the three other Saiyans. Unlike Broly, they're no match for him though, so he tells them they're no fun, but then Broly flies in to support them. Without his power going out of control, and without Babidi's help, he is weaker than he was before in the beginning of the battle. But still, as a controlled Super Saiyan, he's far stronger than anyone else here, and even a little bit stronger than Buu is right now. He thinks he has this in the bag, and Raditz smirks. Awesome. He's never seen power like this. The four Saiyans all stand together, and Goku lets Broly know. As they were fighting Buu, and as Broly was fighting Buu, they noticed that he was able to regenerate, so it looks like they're going to have to destroy him with one powerful attack. And Goku asks if Broly thinks he could do that, and Broly says he should be able to. They could all combine their power together, but Broly will be the finishing blow. Goku and Raditz would love to fight Buu alone, since they're used to 1v1s, but with everything at stake right now, it looks like they really can't risk that. Buu starts losing ground really quickly. Babidi used Broly to unleash Buu, but didn't realize that he'd also be the one to defeat Buu. As Broly clashes with Buu, Goku, Raditz, and Gohan perform a family Kamehameha together. Broly quickly jumps back and then joins them. Instead of performing Kamehameha, he opens his mouth and launches a huge blast of energy from it. For a brief moment, his hair even flickers green, but his green beam swirls around with their Kamehameha. Buu tries to counter with his own attack, even mimicking them and performing his own Kamehameha. But his beam is quickly overpowered, and he's swallowed up whole by their attack. There's nothing left of Buu. He's completely destroyed, and they've won the battle, not just defeating Buu, but taming Broly. Exhausted, they all power down, and Shin lets out a sigh of relief, until a massive pillar of light appears right next to them. Shin and Kibito jump up in the air, and they nearly faint when they realize who's here. Beerus. Raditz doesn't recognize him, but knows the name, so he's pretty terrified. Goku had heard his name once in passing from Vegeta, though he thought it was some sort of urban legend or some sort of expression that he was using. A god of destruction. He didn't think that actually existed. But Vegeta did actually see Beerus with his own eyes, and Raditz heard the tale about it. Whis then looks around and smiles, telling Beerus that all the Saiyans are gathered in one spot here. These are all the remaining ones. Well, there actually is one other pretty weak one out there, but he keeps that to himself. He assumes they all know who Tarble is anyways. Beerus looks around pretty disgusted by this planet. Why are they here of all places? And then Shin explains what happened. First explaining why Broly's here, why the Saiyans came here, and who they just fought. Well, Oracle Fish told him to wake up right now, and it looks like he woke up just in time, arriving here just moments after Buu's defeat. So, that must mean one of these Saiyans here is his rival. He's gonna want to fight them to test it out. Whis taps his staff on the ground, and all the Saiyans are healed. Raditz is a bit terrified, and Shin and Kibito think this is insane, but you know what? They're all gonna go along with it. They're Saiyans after all. They'd love a good battle like that. Beerus fights the Saiyans, and none of them are too impressive for him, until he gets to Broly. Broly does show his strength again as Super Saiyan, and even at one point his hair flickers green, which Beerus tries to drag out of him. But once he does that, he fully transforms into his full power, and he loses control. Beerus is impressed by this strength, definitely unlike anything he's ever seen, but at the same time it's clearly not defined. I mean, look at it. So Beerus shows off a little bit more of his power, and defeats Broly. This is Broly from years prior. At the point of the story we're at now, this is before the Buu Saga was even supposed to happen. Still, that Saiyan shows more promise than the others. He'll leave them be for now, but he knows one of these is going to be his rival. He might have just showed up at a bad time, but he's going to watch them from afar. He expected a Super Saiyan God, and all he got was just, well, Super Saiyans. He'll take another nap for a few months, and then he'll be back eventually. Beerus showed up for a few minutes, beat everyone up, and then immediately left. That was weird. Shin thanks everyone for their help, though. He doesn't really know what else to say because he didn't even expect Babidi to show up right now, so he wishes things went a little bit more smoothly. But they should probably go too. Shin and Kibito then teleport away, with the Saiyans unsure of what to do next. The first thing Goku does is invite Broly to Earth. Unlike normal, Broly has nothing to hide from because there's no Frieza coming after him. And they don't actually know that Paragus is dead, but even if he were still alive, he wouldn't really be a threat. So Broly's not too scared of him. There's no reason for them to stay on Vampa when there's a much better planet out there. And they end up going to Earth. About half a year passes. We're still before the Buu Saga was originally supposed to happen, by the way. And Beerus wakes up from that short nap. He comes to Earth for the very first time, hoping that the Saiyans have grown since then. But as he comes to Earth, one of the first things he does is try some of the food here, and it's pretty amazing. He was going to be really disappointed if he didn't actually fight a Super Saiyan God just yet, but you know what? That put him in a really good mood. So, regardless of if he fights a Super Saiyan God right now or not, that's fine. And besides, he knows about the Super Saiyan God ritual now. He had Whis research it while he was sleeping. And the Namekian Book of Legends actually had some info for him. The issue is, they're not going to have enough Saiyans here. They have Goku, Broly, Raditz, Gohan, and Goten. They would need a 6th Saiyan. And Whis did find out about Tarble before, but he's not sure if he would even fit the ritual. But as he looked around, there were no other Saiyans out there. It's just these 5. And besides Goku, Gohan, and Goten, they don't know if the other 2 are fully righteous. They're good, but fully righteous? Maybe not just yet. And since they might not have enough Saiyans for the ritual, well, that's the whole reason Beerus came here in the first place. He wants to actually bring some of the Saiyans to his planet. But which ones will he choose? We'll save that for the next part. This is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.